What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 188, and before we start today's episode off, I just want to offer a quick apology to everyone who's been noticing the fact that I haven't really been replying to many comments of late, or even reading some comments, replying to tweets. Haven't really done much of that either, to be honest. There's no real excuse for my inactivity in terms of, engaging with you guys like I usually like to do. It's just been a very tiring week, let's just say that, and I'm surprised I still managed to do 2 videos every day. But even so, I'm sorry that I haven't really been replying to tweets or comments or anything. I really do apologise for that. There's no real excuse for it. It's just me being a loser, let's just say that. But still, to make up for it, I thought today I'd give you a little bit more of a longer video than usual. Not too longer, about a couple minutes, but even so, I've got 3 massive games in today's episode, so hopefully that makes up for it. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. Anyway, we take on Spurs for the first game of today's episode here, and it's a North London derby, of course, in the Premier League. Of course, games running out now for the teams outside the top 4 to try and make a claim to finish in the top 4 and qualify for the Champions League next year. And as Spurs come to take us on here at White Hart Lane, we win ourselves a penalty just 30 minutes in, as Rodrigo Lazari, who I've mentioned a couple of times now, this kid has got some serious potential. He's really quick, he's a great finisher of the ball. Arsene Wenger just wasn't playing the guy, and I don't know why, but I've installed him into the first team, just like I did with Coulomb at PSG, and he was fantastic. And Lazari's doing the same job at Arsenal. He's just been absolutely fantastic since coming in, and he's been a big part of our recent form of late. And as he wins the penalty here, Alexis Sanchez would stand up and take it, and the Chilean was always going to score. So Arsenal 1, Spurs 0, Sanchez with the goal. Very nice penalty there. Goalkeeper rooted to the spot, and we do take the lead in this North London derby. So coming into this game, with games running out right now, as we are still in the top 4, there's still a chance that we could drop out of the top 4. There's still a chance we could drop out of the Champions League places if we begin to slip up. But to take the lead 30 minutes in, through that penalty, I felt very confident in our chances following that, and that was a really good way to give us the lead there. It really sort of smashed the confidence for Spurs, because they actually started quite brightly in this game, looked pretty decent early on, didn't really take their chances, and once we got the penalty, I knew we were probably going to score a second goal, and we did. And guess who scored it? It was Alexis Sanchez, his second goal of the game. He makes it 2-0 to Arsenal. He counters the ball inside that far post. I think he actually clipped the far post before going in, and Sanchez makes it 2-0. And Lazari again also getting the assist there, playing a nice little through ball inside to Sanchez. Those two were linking up really nicely in the first half, and that made it Arsenal 2, Spurs 0. So 2-0 up in this game, already looking very, very strong indeed, and on course for the 3 points, and we'd only played half of the game. So 2-0 to Arsenal. Sanchez with both goals, very nice to see. And in the second half here, not much was really happening. Spurs, after we won the penalty, they'd sort of just died down. They had made quite a fast start, they were looking a little bit threatening, but after the penalty which we scored, they just weren't in the game at all until the 75th minute, when Dembele had a good chance here, his header being well saved by Szczesny, and Debuchy cleared the ball away, and it was still 2-0. But Spurs, they crept back into the game. They had a couple of chances here, Soldado finding Vertonghen up the other end of the pitch for Spurs, and his shot goes just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. But it was how the game would finish, a 2-0 victory, both goals by that man Sanchez, and again, a bit of a routine victory. As soon as we did get the first goal, I knew it was going to be ours, because Spurs just completely eased off and realised they were up against a really good Arsenal side right now, in a lot of good form. So very pleased to get the win. And following that, we had a game against Liverpool here in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. Now, of course, in the FA Cup, I've mentioned, we don't have any objectives this season other than qualify for the Champions League. The board didn't care about the Europa League. We lost in the round of 32 to Hoffenheim, got knocked out at that stage by the German side. And in the FA Cup, well, the board haven't really cared about it at all. They've said nothing about it whatsoever. But, we're into the semi-finals now, and we're looking pretty decent. So as we do take on Liverpool here at Wembley in the capital, I was really fancying our chances, to be honest, with the good run of form we've been on, and the fact I put a really strong side out there. I really did feel as though we'd probably be the favourites coming into this game, but Liverpool would have the first chance of the game, as John Flanagan goes down the right hand side and crosses the ball in. Paul Pogba wins the header, but it goes over the bar and behind for a goal kick. So Liverpool signaling some intent early on. They have a good chance, but in the 14th minute, a great chance to make it 1-0. Sanchez finds Danny Welbeck down his left hand side. He takes on Dejan Lovren, gets himself inside and shoots, but Brad Jones makes the save and turns it behind for a corner. So still goalless, but a couple of chances for both sides early on. Not much happened then until the 38th minute, when Szczesny had to make a good save and keep it goalless there, denying the header and keeping it a 0-0. But from the resulting corner, Matuidi ends up crossing the ball into the box here with his left foot. He looks for Mkhitaryan in the centre. Szczesny comes, doesn't get there, and Paul Pogba heads in the rebound and makes it Arsenal 0, Liverpool 1 with 5 minutes to go. So Pogba, the French midfielder, getting the goal. Really frustrating goal, that one, because, you know, Szczesny is a goalkeeper. I really like him. You know, he's actually been pretty decent since we came in, but he, like every other single goalkeeper in this game, I don't know why, but whenever corners come into the box, I just don't feel confident with him. And it was the same there. He goes to get the ball, he gets nowhere near it, he goes up in the air, and Pogba heads in the rebound. So Arsenal 0, Liverpool 1, Paul Pogba with the goal, and the away side are in front in this game. And just 2 minutes after the restart here, Jovetic goes very close for Liverpool, but thankfully for us, his shot goes wide and behind for a goal kick. So still 1-0. But the fact of the matter is, Liverpool were playing much better than us, and in the second half, with us being a goal down, I really felt as though we were going to go out there and have a really fast start and look very threatening. But in the 53rd minute, Liverpool made it 2-0 here with a free header at the far post for Fabio Borini, and I honestly, like, my defence had just capitulated in this game completely. You know, I felt I defended really well against Spurs, and I was looking pretty strong at the back. In this game, I was all over the place. This deflected cross off Kagan Holland goes to the far post, and Gibbs, I don't know whether it was me or the AI, but he just seems to run away from Borini, giving him a free header, and Fabio Borini couldn't miss. So Arsenal 0, Liverpool 2, and the game wasn't exactly over. We did have a good chance here in the 56th minute. Lazari going forward one-on-one, but under pressure, couldn't really get the shot away convincingly, and Brad Jones did make a good save in fairness, and it was still 2-0. And just past the hour mark here, Liverpool come forward with Coutinho, they cross the ball in, and Jovetic's header is saved by Szczesny and turned behind for a corner. So still 2-0, but it just wasn't really good enough from me. And, you know, there are some games which I'll play on FIFA and I'll make excuses for it, and I'll say, oh, you know, just didn't get the rub of the green really. But in this game, I wasn't in the game really at all. I was not playing very well in any respect. And Danny Welbeck did go close here with 4 minutes to go, his shot being well saved by Brad Jones and turned behind for a corner. Sorry, 2 minutes to go even. And from the resulting corner, Szczesny does come forward for it with 2 goals down. So, you know, I mean, it's going to take a bit of a miracle for us to score 2 goals late on in this game with just a minute and a quarter to go in normal time and send the game into extra time. But it was still 2-0, and Szczesny did just sprint forward for the corner, so I thought I'd wait for him to come up just to see if he could do anything for it. So eventually, as Szczesny, you can see him here just running into the box. Here he comes, there he is, Szczesny arriving from deep, getting into the box. I tried to crowd the goalkeeper out, see if I could cause a bit of a scramble like Liverpool did for their first goal. Sanchez crossed the ball in, and what do you know, Dzeko does score, and talk about a scrappy goal. And the funniest thing is he does the celebration, Szczesny sits down, it's the Jimmy Bullard celebration, and Szczesny, he doesn't run back to his goal, he sits down. I don't know why, that really made me laugh. But anyway, Dzeko gets the goal. It's credited as a Dzeko goal, but he doesn't really know much about it. The corner comes in, Brad Jones spills it from the catch, and it hits Dzeko on the back and just trickles into the empty net. So it's Arsenal 1, Liverpool 2. A bit of a howler from Brad Jones, really. As you can see Szczesny running past him to join in the celebrations there. So it's 2-1 as Dzeko gets a bit of a fortunate goal. I said a bit of a fortunate goal, probably the most fortunate goal I've ever scored on FIFA, and it's 2-1. And wouldn't you know it, in the 90th minute, in the 4th minute of added on time, we win ourselves another corner, and he's coming forward again. Szczesny's getting into the box. Can he cause another scramble? Are we going to score a late goal and send this game to extra time? One of the most incredible finishes to a FIFA game ever. Well, Sanchez does the exact same thing, asks the teammates to crowd the goalkeeper out, see if he can cause another scramble. He crosses the ball in, Dzeko wins the header, and it goes inches wide of the post, and that was the last touch of the game. So it finishes Arsenal 1, Liverpool 2, and unfortunately for us, we are out of the FA Cup in the semi-final stage. A really dramatic finish to the game, but sadly it wasn't enough for us to go ahead and send the game into extra time. And it's a shame, you know, because I really would have liked to have won a trophy in our first season with Arsenal. You know, we did it with PSG. Well, we won 2 trophies with PSG, didn't we? And I thought we could possibly do it with Arsenal as well. I wasn't really sure about the Europa League. I don't know why. I just felt as though it might be a bit too much of a challenge for us, having to play Thursday nights and then either Saturday or Sunday night, depending on whether EA have placed you on the Saturday or Sunday for the next game, and not being too much rest time and doing, you know, everything we can to secure a top 4 place being our main aim. But the FA Cup, I felt the draw was relatively kind for us, and I honestly felt as though we probably could have won that game against Liverpool had I been at the races. You know, there were chances, but I didn't defend very well, and that was my Achilles heel really. But even so, we're out, and that's just how it is, and we won't be going back to Wembley for the final. Liverpool will take on Chelsea for the final, and we take on Chelsea for this game in the Premier League, the third and final game of today's episode here, as we take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, right now, you know, definitely the big favourites to go ahead and win the Premier League. They're a few points ahead of West Bromwich Albion, and they also have a game in hand as well. And for us in the race for the top four, well, we're 3 points ahead of the side currently sitting in 5th place in Manchester City, but they've got a game in hand on us. So it's a really interesting battle, you know, not just for the title but also for the race for the top four. So both interesting battles. So coming into this game, both teams wanted to win it, and we're desperate to win it really for completely different reasons. But we do take on Chelsea, and one of the first chances fell there as Szczesny had to make a good save, and on the counter attack Lazari went forward and won us a penalty, and that gave us a great chance to make it 1-0 as Callas also gets a booking from the referee as well. So it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, but 24 minutes in we win ourselves a penalty, and Lazari won a penalty in the first game of today's episode against Spurs at the Emirates Stadium in the North London derby, and he wins us a penalty here as well. You can see the shirt pull there. It's a definite penalty as he hits the deck, and it's a great chance for us to make it 1-0. So Welbeck wasn't happy with the challenge there as Callas pulled Lazari to the floor, but Welbeck did have a good chance to make it 1-0 from the spot here. Sanchez scored from the spot in the first game, but Welbeck wanted to take this penalty, and it was the same result. Cech is rooted to the spot, and Danny Welbeck picks out the top corner and makes it Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. So we take a bit of a surprise lead here at Stamford Bridge, to be honest. You know, our team is not as bad as it first appeared when we came in to join Arsenal. I think the 4-4-2 Diamond Central, or 4-1-2-1-2 Central, however you want to call it, is the best formation for this team. I'm really liking using it. You know, usually I play with a lot of width in FIFA, but now I'm playing more centrally, and it's actually wielding pretty positive results. So I'm really liking the formation, and things are looking a lot better here with Arsenal. So to take the lead in this game wasn't as much of a surprise as it probably felt like, but the lead would unfortunately for us only last 5 minutes because Marco Marine scored for Chelsea there as the first shot was blocked. The second one was saved by Szczesny, and Marine turns in the rebound. And in all honesty, you know, I mentioned Szczesny in the Liverpool game. I do like him as a goalkeeper, but I think he should have done better with that shot there. He probably should have turned it behind for a corner, if not pushed it a little bit further afield and putting it straight into the path of Marine. I know it's a very difficult job being in goal. I played in goal for many years, but even so, you got to turn that ball away there. But he doesn't, and it's Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Maybe I'm being a bit too critical. Probably I am really, but still, in the 44th minute, they went close again. Chelsea, Lucas Piers getting on the end of this cross and heading the ball just over the bar, and on the stroke of half time Marco Marine's causing problems again, but as he gives it away, Santi Cazorla finds Alexis Sanchez. Great through ball in towards Rodrigo Lazari, and a great chance to make it 2-1 here as the Italian bears down on goal, but he ends up hitting the bar, and Welbeck is eventually ruled out. Well, his shot goes over the bar, ruled off for offside. So it's still Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1 as Lazari hits the woodwork there. But in the second half here, we pass out from the back from a goal kick and give the ball to Callum Chambers. Chambers plays it through towards Alexis Sanchez. He gives it to Lazari, the danger man, who roulettes around Felipe Luis, goes down this right hand side, eventually cuts inside with a nice little turn, goes through one-on-one, and for the second time in this game Lazari hits the woodwork and it goes straight to Cech. So it's still 1-1, and really unfortunate in this game for Lazari because he just didn't get the rub of the green, and it was still 1-1. So twice hitting the woodwork, but unfortunately we were still level. And with 20 minutes to go, Salah goes down the left hand side and finds Ramirez. Ramirez finds Marco Marine. Marine spreads it out wide towards Lucas Pearson, who strikes it, and Szczesny does make a good save there and keep it at 1-1, and eventually has to make another good save as the ball comes in. The shot is taken, but this time he turns it behind for a corner. So still 1-1, a good double save by Szczesny, and there were chances in this game for both teams to win it. You know, it wasn't a scrappy 1-1 draw where both teams got an early goal and then sort of settled for a point really. In this game, both teams, you know, did have a lot of chances to win it, but as you can see, 9 minutes to go, the final chance fell there. Joel Campbell's head went over the bar and behind for a goal kick, and it was how the game would finish. So Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1, which means we are still in the Champions League places with just a few games to go. Chelsea are still top of the table. It's getting very, very tight come the end of the season in this career mode, as we predicted. Are we going to hang on to a Champions League place and keep our job? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.